Hello and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, aka your business bestie. I teach female coaches, speakers, and course creators to release procrastination and perfection so that they can get more done, book more clients, and have the time freedom that all entrepreneurs crave. This is not your typical business coaching podcast. We're talking about business, life, probably some wooey magic, and probably some singing or referencing song lyrics along the way. So if you're into business building, making more money, and getting a little bit of a mindset shift along with having a good laugh, you're definitely in the right place. I've grown 3 businesses from $0 to consistent 4 and 5 figure months over the last 15 plus years. And now I'm helping you do the same thing. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen without the help of others. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I believe it takes a village to grow a business as well. So in this podcast, you'll find people who help you grow your village, cheer you on, as well as holding you accountable. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait for you to listen to each episode. Let's dive in. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. I am so excited to have you back. Today, I have Lori with me, and I am so excited to learn more about what she does, who she serves, and just all of the good things about her business. So, Lori, if you could give us a little intro, tell us who you are and who you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, my name is Lori Konkler. I am serial entrepreneur, digital nomad, and business and life success coach, I guess I would say at this point, because it's so much more than business. And, in terms of who I help, I'm really focused on helping remote-based entrepreneurs, whether they're working from home, whether they're working from an RV, or whether they're working from the beaches of Bali, or they're aiming to do one of those things, and really supporting them in all areas of their business. Big believer in a holistic strategy when it comes to business success. And we also, coaching and agency services as well. So that is how I help them and who I help.
Yay, that is so cool. I love that so much. Bali is one of my favorite places ever. I've led a number of yoga retreats there, so definitely my dream to go back there and have a place there someday.
Yeah, it's actually super affordable. It's just getting
is.
there from the US that's expensive. But.
Right. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, my daughter sees our pictures all over the house of Bali and she's like, Mommy, when can we go? And I always tell her we'll go back when you're a little bit older.
When you can pay for mommy's trip.
Yes, exactly. That's too funny. All right. So my first question is, how long have you been in business?
Well, it depends on which business, but in terms of the Xennial Traveler, which is the one that I guess we'd be focused on today, and as it stands today, I have been doing this now going on 4 years. The company was around before I actually became a coach, but I started as a travel blogger under that name. So.
Cool. That is so exciting. I love that. I also love to hear how people's businesses have shifted and molded over the course of their kind of career, entrepreneur career. And I just think it's so inspiring to hear, how many people have really made some of those changes and shifts and pivots, even when they're kind of scary, right? Leaning into that is really something that, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, oh, did I do the right thing?
Oh, yeah. I've had actually a couple of those moments, to be honest.
Oh
yes,
my
definitely
gosh.
been there.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So what is something challenging that you have overcome in your business? And this can be recent. It could be way back when, just over your entrepreneur journey. What's something challenging that you have overcome?
Well, That's a good question. And trying to narrow it down to just one thing that I have overcome as a business owner in my business. So I think, really for me, one of the biggest challenges that I've had as a business owner was getting out of my own way. Honestly, because there's so many ways, that you can interpret that. But for instance, the example of I have a team and I have a great team. Several people on my team. And I love business operations. I have a background in it. I teach it. So I love being behind the scenes, but actually like getting out of that role of, director of operations and stepping into my role as a CEO and a business owner has been something that was challenging for me. And I have a lot of leadership experience before I actually started my own businesses, but it's very different when it's your own, and to be able to just step away and let other people take the reins, run your business. It's been an ongoing process. I would say we're still sort of working through it, but I finally, I reached a point where I'm like, okay, this has to change. Like, it doesn't matter that I love, building out the site or writing the copy or, figuring out which systems that we should use. Cause I love that, but is that the best use of my time? And when I kind of had that realization, no, it wasn't. It was, a big shift in the way that we ran the business.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think once you realize that stuff, especially as you grow a team and then you realize like, oh, it could run without me. Right? Like having that, it's like, oh, this is kind of sad. But then I also feel like it's kind of exciting because, oh, this could run without me.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that opens so many more
Yeah.
possibilities.
And in my 9 to 5 life, like before I was a business owner, I always prided myself on empowering my team and setting it up so that if I got hit by a bus that next day, that my team could easily, like, it would be like I never was there. They could take over. And, I think all, if not, or most, if not all of like my more recent positions, in my 9 to 5 life, I was replaced by someone that I trained, and someone that was a part of my team. But taking that concept and putting it into my own business was completely different because I'm not just like teaching someone to run someone else's company. I'm teaching someone to run my own. So yeah,
Right.
that was definitely
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And definitely like a step up is if you think of yourself as a CEO, right? We all, if you own a business, you're a CEO of a company, right? Like, and to really embody that in a way that allows you to hand off things so that you can grow the company and you can grow where you want it to grow to. I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. And you have to stop feeling guilty about putting work on other people or having other people do things that you can do, because it's not a matter of whether you can do it. It's a matter of whether that's the best use of your time as a CEO.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I know some of my clients where they get stuck or some of those tasks where it's like, but I can do this and I should do this. And it's like, well, yeah, you can and it's great, but also like is it really growing your company if you're spending your time doing that, or is there another way that you can
Yeah.
add someone or whatever that task is, right? Have that like farmed off to somebody else to say, yes, they will take care of it. They know my explicit instructions and I can be doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Awesome. So my next question is, what is one piece of advice that you would tell your younger self or your earlier entrepreneur self?
That you don't need, and not my own team, but you don't need others in order to be great. The first business I ever started was with friends, which I don't recommend. It's fine if you become friends after you are in business together, but starting a business with friends is difficult.
Yes.
But I also felt back then that I needed that. I couldn't do it on my own. I knew that I was destined for more and that I was meant to be a business owner, but I always felt like I needed other people in order to be successful at that I didn't have the skills or the strength. Um, And I was very wrong. And I never, like, honestly, I didn't believe that I was going to be starting my own business and doing it without them. But things happen when you work with friends, and,
Mm-hmm.
things changed. And I had to kind of really determine if I wanted that. Was I able to do it myself? So my advice to my younger self is you don't need anybody but you in order to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I also started a business with a friend, and I mean, we're still friends-ish.
Yeah, friends-ish.
Right? Like, and it's fine. Like, we worked through the differences, but ultimately it ended, and it wound up that I took on that whole business after they left. They
Mhm.
moved away. So it was kind of like, oh, you're moving and you're giving me the whole, thanks for giving me the whole business, but also wow, I have a lot of responsibility now.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is a little overwhelming when you're like, okay, it all falls on me, but it's also exciting. Like it all falls on me. I don't
Yes.
need someone else to make this decision. I can make a decision
Hmm.
if I want to do something. Actually, just before this call, I was sending an email and I'm thinking to myself, like, should I run this by my team before I make this decision? It's about something I wanted to add to my membership.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm like, I don't need to. I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
the boss. This is a good idea. We're doing it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And really leaning into that fear of like, oh my gosh, this is all on me, but leaning into that fear in a way that like provides excitement.
Mhm.
Like, oh yeah, I get to make all these decisions, and I'm really excited to do it. And that really gives you space to grow, I think, in a way that just is, it's like it like attracts people in, because they're like, oh, what is she doing? What, she's really excited.
Yeah.
I want to get in on this, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's just it's a really cool way in business to just be, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
Awesome. Awesome. So my last question for this episode is, if you were a kitchen utensil, what would you be and why?
Hmm. I was a kitchen utensil. Ooh, that is a good question. Um, I'm gonna say a fork. I would be a
Yeah.
fork
Okay.
because
Why? Yeah.
they're so versatile. Like
Hmm.
you can use a fork to eat like regular food. Now, if you needed to, you could use it to cut things. You can use it to cook with it. You can use it to do pretty much like anything that you need to do. If you're like making brownies and you don't have a wooden spoon, you can use a fork. But
Hmm.
there's certain things that like you couldn't really do with a spoon, for instance, that
Right.
like you're not going to cut things with a spoon probably, or
Yeah.
like grab something and like hold it with a spoon. So I'm a four. There you go.
That is awesome. I love that. Well, Lori, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that you were able to be on the podcast. I'm so thankful to get to know you a little bit better. And I can't wait to support you more. So if you would like to, I'd love to invite you to let everyone know where they can follow you. There will be information in the show notes below. So feel free to let them know how they can connect best with you.
Absolutely. The best way to connect with me is probably on Facebook, preferably in the Facebook group because that is where I'm most active. And my Facebook group is Build and Scale a Profitable Business, Work from Anywhere. It's a mouthful, but just my personal profile is also a great way to connect with me. And I can always help you to find a group.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
Wow, what a great interview. Thank you so much for showing up here on the Chaos to Clarity podcast. Again, my name is Maggie. I'm so excited to connect with you. You can find all of the information, all of the links below in the show notes for today's interview. And I hope you have the best day ever.